Well, I will tell you what, I had to dig up my Strong's Concordance to figure out what an ephod was. This concordance that I have was given to me by a young Anglican priest who was doing a youth ministry. We were living up the lake. It is a big book, but it has all the words that are in the Bible in it and where you can find them. And there has some meaning to them. Well, an ephod is a chest plate, and it's made of gold. If we go back to Exodus chapter 25, verse 7, onyx stones and other gemstones to be set in the ephod and the priest's chest piece. And then there's more examples in different spots in the mostly in Exodus by the looks of it, and Judges. Yeah. So that's what an ephod is, a chest piece. Very ornate. Okay. My name is Ron. This is Christians Aren't Sheep. This is where the eagles gather to spread their wings, meditate on God's word for a few minutes. Uh, it was a beautiful day today. My wife and I got a lot of things done outside, on the yard, and around the house. Yeah, busy, busy day. But we left with Gideon making an ephod that became uh, something the Israelites decided to worship. It became an idol. So let's see what happens here in chapter 9. One day, Gideon's son, Abimelech, went to Shechem to visit his uncles. I haven't told you who Abimelech is yet. I'll have to back up into chapter 8 here a little bit. Then Gideon, son of Joash, returned home. He had 70 sons born to him, for he had many wives. He also had a concubine in Shechem, who gave birth to a son whom he named Abimelech. And then Gideon died. So that's the end of Gideon's story. This is the beginning of Abimelech's story. So he went to visit his uncles, his mother's brothers. He said to them and to the rest of his mother's family, ask the leading citizens of Shechem whether they want to be ruled by all 70 of Gideon's sons or by one man. And remember that I am your own flesh and blood. Okay. So Abimelech's uncles gave this message to all the citizens of Shechem on his behalf. And after listening to this proposal, the people of Shechem decided in favor of Abimelech because he was their relative. They gave him 70 silver coins from the temple of Baal Berith, which he used to hire some reckless troublemakers who agreed to follow him. He went to his father's home in Ophrah, and there, on one stone, They killed all 70 of his half brothers, the sons of Gideon. But the youngest brother, Jotham, escaped and hid. Then all the leading citizens of Shechem called a meeting under the oak beside the pillar at Shechem and made Abimelech their king. Yeah, doesn't sound like a very good person. When Jotham heard about this, he climbed to the top of Mount Gerizim and shouted, "Listen to me, citizens of Shechem. Listen to me if you want God to listen to you. Once upon a time, the trees decided to elect a king. First, they said to the olive tree, 'Be our king.' But the olive tree refused, saying, 'Should I quit producing olive oil that blesses both God and people just to wave back and forth over the trees?' Then they said to the fig tree, 'You be our king.' But the fig tree also refused, saying, 'Should I quit producing my sweet fruit just to wave back and forth over the trees?' Then they said to the grapevine, 'You be our king.' But the grapevine also refused, saying, 'Should I quit producing the wine that cheers both God and people just to wave back and forth over the trees?' Then all the trees finally turned to the thorn bush and said, 'Come, you be our king.' And the thorn bush replied to the trees, 'If you truly want to make me your king, come and take shelter in my shade. If not, let fire come out from me and devour the cedars of Lebanon.'" There's definitely something to chew on, the meaning of that little ditty, but it must have meaning. But yeah, you chew on that for a bit. See what you come up with. If you have any thoughts, leave me a comment. I'd appreciate it. You all have a fabulous Saturday night. God willing, we will see you tomorrow.